Welcome to the Smarter Science of Slim, the scientifically proven program where you eat more and exercise less to burn fat and boost health.
Eat smarter, exercise smarter, live better. I am so ready for that.
Hey everybody, Jonathan Bailor back with another bonus Smarter Science of Slim show. So excited about today's show because I am on the about page of today's guest, and she's got this wonderful picture. I'm not sure it'll be up there when the show airs, but she's just got this radiant, confident smile on her face. Her shoulders are back, chest out, hands on hips, just being like, yo, what's up? We need to save dinner. She's sitting in the kitchen. She's standing, in the kitchen. And I love her mission. I love what she's about. She's a New York Times best-selling author, the author of the Saving Dinner series, which is just an epic series of books. And she's been featured all over the media. She's on the cutting edge of health and wellness and meal planning technology, which we'll talk about today. But most importantly, she is a wonderful example of how an individual can set their mind to a critical mission and just make it happen. And her mission is a grand one, which I will let her explain more, but it is to save dinner and all of the brilliant implications that has along with it. Today's guest, folks, I'm honored to welcome Leanne E. Lee. Leanne, welcome to the show.
Hey, Jonathan. Thanks for having me.
Well, Leanne, let's get started from the very beginning. What set you on this journey in the first place?
Well, it's funny because in the 80s, I owned a catering business, and I noticed that there was this sort of disconnect between what was going on in families that I was, doing these catering jobs for. And I watched these women who were my customers and with their kids and everything, and explaining that, they don't have time to sit down at the family dinner table anymore, that they ate the scraps off their kids' plates. And that I watched one family. It was the family dinner hour. I had to go over there to get a contract signed. And at the family, I apologized profusely for being there. And she said, "Oh no, it's no big deal. That the kids are eating and what have you." And they were sitting at the breakfast bar, and her husband was on the phone somewhere, and she was just kind of like picking, and eating as she scurried around the kitchen and signing the contract, giving me a check. And I just thought, wow, at my house, when I was growing up, the family dinner table was sacred. And, we sat down and, by God, you were in the house at a certain time, and it was just a natural thing. This is something that we did. It was a ritual that we did every day. And I noticed there was this disconnect between this new, set of families here in the 80s versus how it was when I was growing up in the 70s. And I found myself thinking, that's kind of weird. And then as I went on and I had my own children and we sat down at the dinner table every single night and made that work, I kept seeing how much more disconnected, how much more fragmented dinner time was. And I had a mommy and me class, and I had a bunch of women saying, there's just no way that they can sit down, and there's too many activities that they have to go to, et cetera, et cetera. And at that point, I started to do a little bit of research about how important it was to have dinner as a family. And that just became my mission. I just kind of naturally fell into it. So those are the rough beginnings.
Well, Leanne, you can tell that it is truly a passion of yours because you are just a fount of information about this subject. And it is such a critical subject. Just to give a quick personal anecdote, I was actually on the phone with my mother last week, and we were talking about how people just don't eat meals anymore, and how really we spend so much time on this show talking about people just eat food, just eat things you find in nature. Cool, it's simple. But even one step back from that is eat meals, because if you sit down for a meal, chances are you're not going to all sit at the table and unwrap wrappers and open boxes. So this is just a critical mindset shift. But as you've expressed, we've moved so far away from that. What can we do to move back towards it?
Well, I think to me where the critical problem starts and ends a lot of times is that the responsibility for these meals end up getting pushed onto mom. And I think that's a completely, especially in today's world, I think that's completely unfair. And we need to shift a little bit and have the mealtime become a family project. And so we need to bring our children into the kitchen with us, and they need to be a part of the preparing, and they need to be a part of the cooking, and they need to be a part of the cleanup. Likewise, and I'm talking at very little, 2-year-old can take a spoon and put it in the dishwasher. Dad needs to be a part of this. Everybody needs to have their part in it. You know, Jamie Oliver did a very interesting expose on kids. He was in a kindergarten class holding up different vegetables, and these kids didn't know what they were. And the reason that they don't know what they were is there's no connection to their food. They didn't know what a tomato was. They didn't know what a potato was. But if they, you know, took a French fry and held that up, they all knew it was a French fry. But they didn't know that the French fry was created from a potato. So if we connect our children to what it is that they're eating, and we bring them into the kitchen, we take them to the grocery store, we have them be a part of the menu planning. What do you like that mommy makes? Or, you know, you're going to learn how to make something. I mean, one of the things that I did with my kids is every single night, one of them was helping me prepare the meal. And I had one kid, my son, who would not eat a salad to save his life. And finally, I had him make his own salad. And when he made his own salad, and it was, believe me, he blew the kitchen up. There was just junk everywhere. But once he made his own salad, he ate like 2 or 3 helpings of the salad, because now it was his salad. So by God, he was going to eat that salad. And there was a connection between his creativity of making it and actually eating it. It's kind of a nutritional responsibility, if you will. So, you know, that's a lot of information for that small question, but basically I think the way to overcome the problem is to have the family take this on as a unit rather than give it to one person to handle the planning, the shopping, the cooking, the cleaning, etc., because it is an overwhelming task.
Well, even the mindset that goes along with what you just said, this becomes less of, oh, it's this chore that mom has to do, to this is our family thing. This is what we do as a family. This is what we value. And that seems like that permeates so many things. One example is even the language we use, right? Like if you have to eat your vegetables before you get to eat the candy bar, we're communicating vegetables bad, candy bar good. Whereas if it's like a celebration, so how can we even use our language to help our family get on board with this?
Well, one of the things that I did with my children, and I think was really helpful, because I did the only hiccup that we had with my 2 kids, who are now, by the way, in their 20s, early 20s, and they're both incredible eaters, and they both eat, you know, beautifully and you know, on their own now, and buying vegetables and cooking them themselves. So, you know, it does work if you stay the course. But I would say we get to eat this. This is a privilege. Look at what we're having tonight. We're going to have, you know, broccoli tonight. Years and years ago, we were in a store, and I was taping something for a news segment that I was doing, and my children were younger, much younger, and we went up, and they were going, "Look, let's get cauliflower, Mom." You know, this old man in the store next to me just about fell over, and he goes, "I've never heard a kid say I want cauliflower." But when you make it something like, "Ooh, yum, let's go make the cauliflower. Ooh, did you see what they have?" And you get excited, and your children will take on what it is that you're excited about. So when we have this food is punishment kind of a thing, you know, the bad stuff is the treat and the good stuff is the punishment. We've got it all backwards. What we need to do is say, hey, you know, this is really delicious. Oh, Mom, I love the way you make that cauliflower. Or let's try something new. What would you like to try? Show me a vegetable that you want to try, and we call it what it is. Another thing that we did, especially with little kids, is I would say, you know, these are the growing foods. These are the things that are going to give you muscles, just like your dad. And so I'd have a child that would not want to. I do this and showed this a lot to different families who were having kids with issues and wouldn't eat stuff. So I had these little kids over, and there was no way they were going to eat the spinach. And I said, well, you know what? I think you should eat the spinach. I just want you to take one bite, and let's just take a look at something. And so finally got that one bite in, and I said, okay, now let me see your muscles. And then I'd just say, oh my gosh, Mom, did you see his muscles? Look at them. And that's because he's eating his growing food. So if you can get the associations correct, and you show that the good food is going to do good things for you, and you keep that up, I think we can make the connection in a way that we're disconnected from now.
Leanne, we absolutely can, because that is what my mother did with me. So just another quick anecdote, which is ironic because it has to do with Superman, and my wife and I just watched the Man of Steel movie, which is fabulous. Anyway, I digress. So when I was growing up, I'm talking little Jonathan, like 5 years old. This isn't when I was a teenager. It might be when I was a teenager. So I used to wear a Superman costume all the time. Like, it was just what I wore. I wanted to go to the grocery store in my Superman costume, and this may or may not have been in high school. No, I'm just kidding. This is when I was really little. And my mom, in her infinite wisdom, would say, Jonathan, eating this processed garbage will not make you be like Superman. So it wasn't that punishment. It was like, this is what you need to do to be like Superman. It wasn't like, you're not going to leave the table until you eat this. It's, you're not going to want to leave the table because eating this will make you like Superman. Is that on the right track?
Absolutely. I mean, honestly, years and years ago, I used to have a product that we used to do for our kids. And this happened. I would tell you, I was in a speaking engagement, and afterwards, this family came up to me to say how thankful they were because my book had helped them to eat new things, etc. And this little boy says to me, he goes, "Where's your cape?" And if you look on my saving dinner books, they all have like this super gal with the cape, and she's coming to save the day, going through the groceries with the grocery cart and all of that. And so I created a product with a calendar, and you put little veggie stickers on the calendar as you eat your vegetables, as you're developing your big boy chops, so to speak. And at the end of it, you would get a Dinner Diva cape. So I'm with you on that cape. That cape is a powerful thing for especially little boys. They see that, and you were one of them that see that, gee, this is one way to develop those superpowers. But I think the point, though, is the conversation needs to change. We don't need to punish people with food. We need to enjoy our food, and we need to spread the joy of our food and take our families with us on that. And we do have the power to do that.
We absolutely have the power to do that, Leanne, because there's this false concept that kids like kids' foods, that it's only kids only like sugary, starchy, processed garbage. Which, that if you want an example of what kids like, just like look around the world, right? Kids in Africa eat differently than kids in China, who eat differently from kids in Brazil. Like, kids will like what we give them if we present it correctly, as evidenced by every child who has ever lived in any culture anywhere except the current children in modern Western culture, right?
Right. Well, I mean, we dumb down our food, and we tell our children that they have to eat chicken shaped like dinosaurs, and they need to not eat any vegetables, and that here's the kids' meal at the restaurant. It's all dumbed down food for them. We don't give them any credit for developing their palate, and we don't give the parents any lessons on it. As a matter of fact, we tell our parents, you know what, they'll outgrow it. They'll do whatever they want to do. Well, let me just tell you something. I have seen so many kids who grow up whose parents didn't take the time to train their palates, and they grow up eating macaroni and cheese and chicken nuggets and going to the prom. So, I mean, that's pathetic, and it's sad. And, usually they've got, their skin isn't too happy about it, and they haven't had the good building blocks of proper nutrition throughout their most formative years. And it's sad. How can we do this to our kids?
It's sad, and it's ironic, because when we think about the let's call them smallest kids, AKA right when the baby's developing, like in utero, as a culture, we all agree that nutrition is super critical. And it's not just like, oh, well, the kid is only 3 inches big, so just eat whatever, it'll grow out of it. No. We're like, it's super important. But somehow from 0 to 9 months, it's critical. But then from 9 months and 1 day to 18 years, oh, it's whatever. Give them the kids menu.
Right. Yeah, I mean, one kid I know that I've got him eating green beans now, but, 16 years old, and he's never eaten a fruit. The only vegetable he'll eat are the green beans, and I'll make an occasional, baked potato. Not the best thing, but at least he'll eat a baked potato, and it's not French fries. And, that's it. And this kid otherwise, lots of fast food, lots of pizza, very, very limited palates. And it's not okay. It's just not okay. We're setting this generation up for disease. And I think we need to take this very, very seriously and get ourselves to the point of understanding that developing a child's palate is not giving them a eating disorder, and it's not bad parenting. It's good parenting. And this is what we need to understand. And there's a lot of really great ways to be able to do it and to do it together as a family.
Well, amen, Leanne. And that is a key point as well, is with all of the misinformation out there and the billions of dollars of marketing working against us,
Yes.
It is so important to have creative and modern tool sets to help us overcome some of these challenges. So one of the things I'm most excited about sharing with the audience is some of the tech work, because so often things around nutrition are so low tech. In fact, one of my whole things is like, hey, we've been told the same information around the science of eating and exercise for 50 years. Like, let's get modern with this. And you're doing a great job of that. So please tell us the big things you have coming up next and the tool sets you'll be providing to people to help them live this way.
Well, one of my biggest things is, I told you savingdinner.com is undergoing a complete transformation. And I'm really super excited to have the new site debut here. And it's just absolutely gorgeous. And also our, cornerstone product called Premium Menu Mailer, where people are allowed to, once they become members, they're able to go in and create custom menus that their families will enjoy. So we have something, we call it Classic Menu Mailer. And that's a subscription thing so that they get this every single week. They get an opportunity to log in and see their menu. Or if they do the Premium Menu Mailer, they can completely customize it for whatever it is that their families like. Because not every family, while I say eat everything and eat as much, eat as good a food as you possibly can, not every family is going to be like, say, salmon lovers. That's fine. There's other fish there. So choose a fish that you like, and you can search our entire database. And believe me, I've been doing this for almost 13 years. So our database is pretty big and you can get exactly the menu that you want for your family. So it's really fun. And I'm really excited about that.
And if I understand correctly, it's also a pretty integrated, advanced situation where it's not just like, hey, here's a menu. It's like, here's a menu. And now here's the grocery list you need to build that menu. So it really automates. It's like you have a little personal assistant in a sense.
Right. So as you're choosing the food we will give you here's some different, example menus that you can choose from. But let's just say you look at it and you go, just really not wild about the salmon. I'm going to change that salmon recipe out for something shrimp. My family likes shrimp. Fine. So you put shrimp in the search option, and then let's say you find a shrimp scampi that the whole family will eat that. So you swap those out. And as you're doing that, your grocery list is created at the very same time with the exact amounts you need, with the serving suggestions on there, all the information. It's really super cool. And then the real best part about it is you can have that grocery list get sent to your spouse's phone. Notice how I'm pushing it over spouse now. And you're done, and it's that easy. And then there's no excuses for, oh gosh, I forgot that can of tomatoes. You didn't forget it because it's right there on your list.
Well, Leanne, I'm going to make a feature request here, which I'm sure you already have in the works. And that might be, in addition to actually sending it to their phone, something where it's like they can't get into certain applications until they go do this other thing. That might be kind of a cool way. No, I'm just kidding.
Lock them out of Facebook. Yeah, right?
Leanne, well, this is brilliant. We're, again, the website where folks can go to learn more about this, as well as all the other cool stuff you have going on, is savingdinner.com, correct?
That's absolutely right.
Beautiful. And the book series is the same name. It's the Saving Dinner book series, correct?
Exactly.
I love it. Well, Leanne, if you could leave our listeners with the one key, just do this for 21 days in your 13 plus years of experience, that will give them the most bang for the buck or set them on the path to revisiting and saving dinner in their family. What would that tip be?
It would be to reconsider your dinner table as a sacred piece of furniture and not some place to dump the junk mail and the book bags, and to really, really rethink it. Bring the family together, make this a family project, and it will happen if you put the time into it.
I'm not sure if the mic is picking that up, but that is official applause. That answer got a 10 out of 10. I'm actually checking with the judges. Confirmed. That answer is a 10 out of 10. Leanne Ely, thank you so much for joining us today. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Jonathan, for having me.
Listeners, again, today's radiant guest is the brilliant New York Times bestselling author and tech guru, as you hear, Leanne Ely, and you can learn more about her at savingdinner.com. This week and every week after, remember, eat smarter, exercise smarter, and live better. Chat with you soon. Wait, don't stop listening yet.
You can get fabulous free SANE recipes over at carriebrown.com.
And don't forget your 100% free eating and exercise quick start program, as well as free, fun, daily tips delivered right into your inbox at bailorgroup.com. That's BAILOR group.com.